What up? What up? What's up? Hey, first of all, today we are going to be talking about yoga, business, and digital marketing, and actually how to actually grow your business. Right? Right now, my wife is in the yoga space. I work with her directly in her business, and we're going to talk about some of those things today. And I'm really going to put you in perspective of how do you actually grow your yoga business. Okay. So for the ones who are live with me or the ones who are watching this, the one thing I want to tell you is that you have to move the needle, right? Like you yourself, okay? And we call it the wellness rebel, right? You have to move the needle. Um, and for any yogi out there who's trying to, build their digital business, as I built it with my wife and we were able to make more and more opportunities, let's say, like, let's not even say money, let's say frequency. Let's say as a yoga teacher, as my wife moved into frequency in which she was able to give help to people and flow at the level in which she would get return. And I'm saying that because in this business of doing what is needed, right? It's like, how do you get to the frequency in which you're vibrating across all platforms everywhere, where you're putting out your content and doing it? And at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. And so we're going to talk about this today. I'm gonna I actually got some notes over here. If you really want to talk about growing your overall yoga business, I'm about to do some marketing real quick as well, because you cannot you cannot believe that anybody will be a better marketer than you for your own business. So this is why I say things like when we're live and we're going in on situations, to be able to truly understand that you have to put yourself out there, um, consistently. Like, consistently, you have to put yourself out there, and that's one of the hardest things to do. A lot of time, people are super afraid to consistently put themselves out there. They're like, well, what if it doesn't go the way I want it to? What if it doesn't work out? I always say, at the end of the day, um, I wonder if we do this, if I do that. We are live now. Right. So, in the position of absolute growth and opportunity, I'm not even going to say we are live now. I should say I am live now. So, yeah, so let's talk about this. We're going to talk about growing your digital business at the digital state as well as the in-person situation, and how you can kind of mix those things together. Honestly, I think that's one of the most powerful things, is to be able to actually mix those things together, to be able to attach multiple situations or multiple things into one place and really understand what that looks like, is the most important part. So let's do it. Let's go with Instagram too. Drop it in like the live AI group and see if people pop in from there. So here's one thing I wanted to talk about today. Okay, in any niche, I realized my mind had to be fresh in multiple niches for me to be able to really grow, and for that, it really comes down to learning how to adapt in any circumstance. I'm actually about to share my screen and really go um, over this concept. The one thing I want to know is that doing the actual digital marketing part comes down to your overall strategy and purpose, to in which that person is funneled down to, in which you can grow your business. Okay. So the very first thing, let's go. Can we start here? Let's start from presentation one. So I'm just going to be showing you guys this situation, okay, as a digital marketing teacher. So if you are a yoga teacher, I guess 5 minutes is when it's going to start. Can someone dock that? 5 minutes is the real start. This is where the video really gets into it. Now, let's actually share my screen, which is lit. I've been trying to just go. I'm trying to go. I want to just do a window, or do I want to do like a whole screen? Let's just do a window. If I pop down, I'll see this. So let's really get into this. Okay. I'm actually going to break down a few things that honestly, if you don't sit here and take notes, if you don't go over this as a yoga teacher, I'm doing my 200 hours now. I've built my wife's yoga business over the last 2 years with her. And we're going to just talk about the things that you absolutely need to implement to grow your business, to take it to the next level, and really the depth in which you have to think about. So, first of all, we're going to do a brand ambassador program. You can probably find that link down below or somewhere if you're going to be able to find it. Marketing with Dom, or you can find it at Expert Marketly. You could DM me on Instagram, whatever you want to do to join that. Basically, I'm looking at the overall energy in digital marketed marketing like a frequency. So how do you maximize your frequency out in this world and be able to absolutely take it to the next level with all the things that you have available? Now, I think a lot of times we think of creation, but we should be thinking of documentation and putting out the documentation of the frequency that we create so that we can put it out in multiple places like social media. We do live in alternate realities, and I think yogis need to pull people into their reality by creating more content. Now, if you don't know who I am, I'm marketing with Dom. This is actually a photo shoot with my wife. I said it's symbolic because she actually got me into this side of the wellness business on the yogi side. I've helped people create $1 million businesses with that system overall and changed an accomplishment and watched my wife be able to make an extra $5,000 a month when she really wanted to, right? She could turn it on and be like, I'm going to do this and build this. And right now she has an event coming up right now, which I'm super, super excited for. So the question is, how are we going to help you make an extra $1,000 to $5,000, right? First of all, any tall building has to build a great foundation. So take notes throughout this process because I'm going to really break down more than just digital marketing. I'm going to build a whole marketing world around what you really have to think about as a yoga teacher. Okay. Building a system that works with you. Now, giving everything you need, coaching in the software. Right? This is I'm giving away just game on YouTube nowadays, so that's just all I'll really be doing, honestly. Um, it's just giving out game. Just trying to close some things out so that we don't have all this drama. So the biggest thing is that I always talk about, which you have to understand as a yoga teacher, that really needs to set in. You need to write down lifetime value and my CRM, which is my relationship with my customer, right? My CRM. So lifetime value and CRM. Now, most people build their system on platforms like MindBody, um, and the reason why I believe that at the beginning it seems easier, but at the end it's harder is because they're really about themselves, right? They're really about the customer, and you're kind of just one of the clients. If things really go wrong somewhere, they don't really try to hold you down. They will remove you to make sure that their clientele is really taken care of um, overall, right? If you're in another city. Now, so the reason why I think you got to understand two things when you're in digital marketing and understanding the importance of the simple things you do as a yoga teacher is the lifetime value and the customer relationship CRM that you're going to go with. Now, understanding your funnel is so important for any digital marketer who's trying to grow. Okay. For any person in the yoga space, once my wife started to understand these things, right? Like she's like the levels in which someone goes and travels throughout your process as a yoga teacher, she started to just take over in her own right way, in her way, right? And I always say that it's all based off of your frequency in your own way, what you want to do, what you want to put out there, and what you're really thinking about. Um, all of that comes into all that comes into fruition right now, right? So the reason why I'm about to post this again on my Instagram live. Oh, don't want to do that. So the thing that I'll tell you is that knowing your process, knowing the journey in which someone will take to get to the next step in your funnel or to pay you a little bit more money, and knowing that is so important because when you do not know that, Okay, when you do not know that, what happens is you're always scrambling for the next dollar, but you don't know what the next step is. You're just like, I need to get money, I need to pay bills, or I need to figure this out, or and even if you're just doing it as a side job, right? If you're just doing it on the side, oh, that's why I was doing that. If you're just doing it on the side, right? And you're trying to grow it, you want to do it more, you want to teach more, you want to help more people. If that's why you got into the business, the biggest thing that I can tell you um, in the process is that you have to know your steps, your operational order. I'm realizing that even more in my business as well, which is like, how do you scale to seven figures? How do you go from 6 to 7 figures? You have to really understand. Um, you have to really understand. Um, you have to really understand the journey in which someone's taking. I'm sorry, I'm just tagging some people and putting the video out there. Um, the reason why I always say that the biggest thing that you can do is set up a process for yourself. Okay. That's the best thing you can do. Okay. So if you know people come to your classes and you never offered them one on ones, how do you do it, right? If they don't do one on ones, how do they know whose workshops they really want to come to? Someone can give them a little bit more time personally, a teacher that you have on that side, and then being able to create workshops with them. They have a clientele of 6 or 7 people, and then they want to be able to bring a workshop together and bring 20 people together, and they'll pay the same amount that they pay per hour here all together, right? Where it's bringing them together to do something together because energy together matters, and then being able to do retreats where people are actually willing to spend days with you and understand that you're able to sell them on what that is. All in one software, like, just got to know what that is. You got to be able to do that. So the biggest things I'll talk about, there's three things in there. There's social media, there's putting out content, letting people feel of what you do. Then there's the actual conversion stage, and where someone goes to a landing page or what you have to offer, and then eventually you have to actually do this thing called tell them that, hey, they should do this. Why not? Because I think that's quite important, is to understand, like, hey, you have to present things to people or they'll never buy. Things must be presented. Okay. On our weekly training, we'll talk about all sorts of things to set up the foundation and stuff like that. But I'll be training on YouTube as well, because honestly, it's mostly about being able to get you guys the information you need to grow, while also growing the software expert markedly around the wellness industry, and especially around yoga teachers, really helping them grow. Now, the very first thing we'll talk about that's actually like a digital thing for you, right, is Google My Business. It's actually very simple. If you're going to get into business and you want to be found when someone's searching in a local area, or you want to be looked at when someone's looking for a private yoga teacher, you have to be on Google My Business, because that's like literally where the lowest fruit are hanging, right? It's like the lowest fruit are hanging locally for you to be able to use that. Now, setting up all of your social media so that you can distribute them across the platforms quite easily after you create it. Very, very important. Understanding the days of business, the other your own marketing, setting up all your stuff. Setting up automations that can do workflows and automatic reminders and stuff for you. It's literally what is the most important thing for you to be able to do. And it's so that you don't have to be a pest, or if you're someone who doesn't absolutely stay focused all the time, or but you need people to remind that you exist, put them on a workflow. Okay, and they can stop whenever they want. This is a bunch of pricing stuff about it. We're not going to talk about all that stuff here. Set up a call when asking more questions. This is something else. But listen, so these are going to actually talk about the problems, right? Most of the times in digital marketing, for yoga teachers, uh, the process of digital marketing is a problem. And that's why I'm going to be teaching about how to build your yoga business in Expert Marketly, and how it can really take you to the next level. Right. So let's talk about your number one problem that you have, I swear, in digital marketing, that you have to think of the whole encompass of your marketing campaign to continuously get you to grow. Like, why is it so easy for my wife to sometimes make an extra $1,000 to $5,000 a month? It's because we've built a system. Everywhere we go, the system only gets stronger over time, and you should also be in that process, of which allowing that process to get stronger for you. What that basically means is that, like, you got to remind people of things. in your digital marketing space nowadays, sending emails and text messages is part of like digital marketing, and those are easy, simple reminders. Or you need a number in which people can text and have a conversation with you about something, and then be able to sell them over communication, because that's when things are sold, is in a conversation. Okay. Are you completely every other option that you're coming with in the wellness course, right? Like, you're competing with everything that could be happening in the world besides the time that they spend at your yoga class. So it's like giving honor and grace and respect to those who show up, and giving them a feedback loop, and understanding that is a powerful thing that you really have to understand. Be an aggressive healer, I say. Be true to, not even healer. Let's say be an aggressive transformer. I'm gonna call it transformer. We're at a yoga studio, and they were just like, we don't heal people, and I was like, okay. And we transform people, correct? We move their body. Their body gets moving. They tap into other things, right? That's what it is. Okay. So the biggest thing about how you can actually grow your business and make one to two more $1,000 is you need to have upsell processes. You need to have a product that maybe cost $1,000 for the month, to really be able to look at that. Like, there is one person who will go through uh once or twice a week for $1,000 a month with a full plan that you're immersed in, rather than only doing the problem in digital marketing with people understanding is that it's not about can you get people to the basics, about do you know the process that steps up. Like, it's hard to make money when you only have low ticket products. It is. And I'm not here to preach a high ticket product. I'm here to tell you, like, in the space of yoga, how you set things up matter, how you present things matter, right? Like, people can say whatever they want. They could read some of this may be misspelled and stuff like that, but that's not my job. My job is actually when I build these systems for people and make it happen. Of course, they're going to look over it and they're going to do their own thing, but consistency matters. And when you only have a basic product, like when the only product you offer is someone coming to your class, you're going to always have a hard time growing your financial stability in that space. And this is why I built this funnel thing out here. And these are kind of interchangeable with workshops and personal training. But I think honestly, all yoga studios, their brand should offer their teachers to be able to do personal yoga training, right? Most of the time, I feel like they skip over the process of that person who may just want you to come to their house and take them through a yoga practice really quickly, and will pay $150, just to try it out, and maybe before they want to go into a group of people or even a class. So when you have a brand, the classes and the studio is what most people focus on, but you should be focusing on the brand. And the brand should be connected to yoga teachers who do personal training. It should be connected to teachers who do workshops. It should be connected to people who do retreats. And it should not always have to be all in your place of business. I think sometimes that's the hardest thing, is that we always resort back to where we spent the most money, or our location, where we're at, our home, especially if you end up getting a lease. So transformation is one part becoming and one part what already happened. The reason why I'm talking about this in this space is because, a lot of times when you think of digital marketing, I look at it as like a cycle. Okay, you have an energy that's pulsating out there, and people are coming and attracting, and they're getting whipped into your whirlwind of your cycle of desiring to come around you, desiring to be in your world. So it's like, how do you set that up for yourself, right? So the way that I look at it is like it's one part physical, one part mental, but I don't mean the body, I mean the environment. And I'm gonna actually get a little bit deeper into this situation when it comes to marketing and the environment in which you present that creates the difference between you and everybody else, and then being able to get people to want to come back by creating things that people want, which is transformation consistently. Some things. Okay, the first thing we'll talk about is smell. Okay, the people spent millions of dollars that have scents that get pumped out of their restaurants and buildings, um, to make sure that people, when they smell that, they're triggered to want to eat that food, right? And that's why the sage smell in the wellness professional space is so exciting for, when you smell it, you just know that smell, right? You're like, oh, it reminds me of the class, it reminds me of yoga session, it brings you back. Those are the past, right? That's their cognizance. So even the hearing, right? Why you see most creators on YouTube channels and stuff like that always repeating the same thing to trigger it. Why is there different sounds for different places? Why are sound bowls mostly in the wellness space? Most of that is because there's a trigger to the sound in which someone really gets to hear. And that means whatever they're used to getting from you, when they hear that, it's like a mantra, it's like a ring, it's like a beginning, it's like a start, and then you start up in the business. Okay. Right. So cold towels, right? imagine what they're feeling in the moment, being able to touch them with the coattail. Like, yeah, like I always make jokes, like depending on what you're doing, maybe you're doing kundalini, maybe you're doing whatever it is, maybe you do touch, maybe you do adjust that person, maybe you don't at all. Okay. But however, if you're not touching people, cold towels could be the thing that touches them, reminding them at a certain point in your class, right? And even ones even better, the color and the smell that you put in the towel can be visible based off of also triggers that someone can have in the moment. Because the more sensories you hit, the more opportunity you get for that person to trigger these things and remind you of yourself. It's kind of like love, you know. So here's one of the things I always talk about, which is this is moving someone from a class to a personal trainer, right? The fastest way to make an extra $1,000. And what I always say to people is, you want to offer a one-time visit, you want to price it like 250, right? Um, but you also possibly want to offer once a week for a month for like $500 to $1,000, right? For maybe once or twice a month, depending on, what they're doing. And the reason why you do that, and people are like, oh, one time, why is it so expensive? The reason why you'll say it is because it's easier to take someone through a transformation when you have a little bit more time. So I charge less and rewarded for them and for me to be able to take them through this process, you know? So that's what's as important. It takes a lot of energy on the first one, asking questions, getting to put someone through a process. Now, if someone asks you why your price is like that, right? They're going to be like, oh, why are your prices like that? You say because consistency gives us the ability to develop a real process of healing. Let's say transformation instead of healing, if you're going to use that. Because giving me a tailored chance to take you through a transformational process, right? If you really want to move forward, the price is only a problem, right? So if they're like, oh, I just can't pay 250, da da da, then you change up the circumstances, right? You want to give and pull. Oh, I don't know if I have this connected. Jesus. So basically, you want to exchange an offer. The first thing you want to say to someone is like, oh, okay, well, then maybe we can meet at a place of my choice, and we can do that at a place of my choice. And the reason why I say that is because you want to pull away, going to their house, having to drive far away from where you live, possibly all these things that can happen in the midst of a negotiation that you may not actually see. Right? You have to drive 45 minutes across town. You don't know where this person lives, right? So the reason why all those things come, you charge that price up front to be able to give it to them. If they want a different price, you tell them you want to meet them somewhere which is simple for you, right? Based off of, and don't say it's like based off of location. You just say, hey, if I'm not paying that much, I would like to meet you at a mutual ground, you know, at somewhere where I'm comfortable or somewhere I teach at this time. And let's set up a time we can make that happen. Cool. Let's move forward. Okay. Problem number two about having low ticket, you never have anything offered more than your actual yoga class. We've already went over all this. Let's go to the solution. This is about working with us. Now let's talk about marketing strategy overall for a yoga teacher. In the space of digital marketing, I'm learning more and more about um, the community. And what I'm learning is you guys like community a lot more than you like just anything that can help. Like you want to be part of a movement, something that's transforming. And I want to also give you guys that opportunity with this software to be able to breed that system for you guys to be able to help that out. So I'm not going to go into all this part. This was really just to kind of talk about the overall lights on digital marketing. Now, I know this doesn't seem like digital marketing, but like I said, it's an ever turning wheel, right? So what you have to understand is funneling your system into a class for a yoga, training to continuously do your workshop is like the process in which you continuously wrap around. And the layers you have to get built. You have to build the landing pages that bring these people into your CRM before they go to your classes, right? Rather than just sending them to your studio, you send them to your classes in between to let you get their CRM. Then maybe you offer them in an email or something a chance to do a personal, yoga training. There's nothing like a personal email that comes from you rather than your business. And then the workshops that you're doing, purpose, why, the feeling, the community you're creating, being able to communicate with that person throughout your lifetime of a business is why we talked about earlier, is why it's so important for you to understand lifetime value and your CRM, your customer relationships are the two things you really do need to focus on. All right, so I hope that really, really does help anybody who's trying to get into digital marketing for the yoga space. We'll be getting a little bit more tech savvy about building your digital presence with your yoga business or building your yoga studio business like independently. But yeah, probably be going live every single day talking about a different subject. I'll be going live this afternoon talking about no investing, but let's get it popping.